If you're serious about getting a puppy and you think you're ready for it, then these tips can definitely help you. This isn't just a quick, like, 5 tips to get you the ultimate puppy. Yeah, it sounds like a great title and you're probably gonna click on it, but it's not that simple. There's a lot that goes into it, and raising a puppy is no simple task. So if you're serious, let's have a real talk about it. So let's just dive right into it. If you're trying to get a puppy and you want to raise it in 2020, then these tips are definitely going to help, and you'll thank us at the end. So let's just say we don't have Bentley already and you wanted to get a dog. Where would be your first step?
A breeder is a good option. A friend, sometimes we have friends who actually have puppies to sell or give away. A local shelter is also a very good spot to start looking, because there are a lot of dogs out there that actually need a home, and sometimes even strays for that matter.
All right, so say like you go to a breeder or a shelter. Are you looking for a particular breed? Like what's in your mind as far as like what dog that you want to get?
Okay, let's say for example, for Bentley's case, when we were looking for a puppy, I specifically wanted a Husky, and then I just started looking for Husky puppies. I actually started looking on Facebook, and I found a seller on Facebook, and I started talking to him, and he was showing me all this different Husky puppies that he had, and then it was a meet and greet session was what I arranged for. So one thing to keep in mind is the type of breed that you might be looking at. Some people, they don't have a specific breed that they want to have. Some they do have, because it also depends on what type of size dog do you want. Do you want a large breed dog, or do you want a medium-sized dog, or do you want a tiny little cute dog? It all depends on you. So for us, we wanted a Husky.
And I think it also depends on your living condition. Do you have a big enough house to hold a Husky? Because they have a ton of energy. They need a lot of space to run around. If you live maybe like in an apartment or a condo type situation, then maybe a Schnauzer or a Poodle might be more better, in that type of small place. Maybe you can take them to work with you or something like that. I know we definitely can't take Bentley to work with us.
And we're not saying that if you have a big house, you can have small little dogs,
Right,
or
right.
if you have a smaller space, you can't have big dogs. It's really entirely up to you and what your living conditions allow you to have. Because there are actually some people who actually really like smaller sized dogs, even though they have so much yard space for the dog. And that's completely fine too.
Okay, so say if we did go to, say, a breeder like we did, how did you know that Bentley was gonna be our dog? How did you know we were gonna take him home?
Connection. So when you look at a dog, we both experienced it, right? When you see a dog, you kind of know. Even with Loki, when we saw him, there was that special bond that you have.
You guys kind of like see like into their soul. It's just like, that's my dog.
Yeah, like it's something very hard to explain, because Loki would look at me and just be completely affectionate, but he doesn't behave the same way with him. And Bentley would see him and totally have attachment issues the moment he's gone, but he would not do the same with me. So it's really the connection that you have with the dog when you meet them. Which is why meet and greet sessions are really, really important, because when you see a dog, you don't just look at how they behave and how well they are able to be trained. You also have to look at whether you actually can connect with them.
So the whole reason why we're coming up with this video is because last weekend, one of our friends, they got 2 little puppies from their friend, and he had no idea what he was getting himself into. We actually came home and we saw them just kind of like wandering around in the street, and we're like, where did these puppies come from? But he found out that they actually like escaped his gate and got into the road. Luckily, we found them before, something bad happened. But then we started asking him some questions, and he's like, well, I don't really have that much time because I'm working. And if you get a puppy, it takes a lot of time. I mean, how much time did we spend with Bentley?
A lot. But again, it really depends, because some people, they actually don't mind leaving their puppies in a crate or at home, but they still have to train them, because the puppy stage is where you really put a lot of time and effort to train. And just like a lot of adults out there, where you actually have a 9-to-5 job where you can't be home all the time, so training a puppy is pretty limited, so it's completely understandable. However, our friend, he was also our neighbor, and he was like, I can't really be there for the puppies at this moment, but is it okay for you guys to just take care of them for a few days until I figure everything out? And we're like, okay, sure, like whatever, it's cool. So that's what we did.
Was it tough? It was quite the experience. I mean, I think it's been so long since Bentley was a puppy. Wow, were they a lot to handle. So we had them for 2 days, and it definitely brought back some very stressful memories. And so when you're getting a puppy, there's a lot of things you have to consider. You have to consider time. Do you have enough time to spend with a puppy? Because typically, if you do keep them in a crate, they can only stay in there for every hour that they're a month old. So if they're 2 months old, they can only stay in the crate for 2 hours at max. If they're 3 months old, they can only stay in for three hours max. And so that's typically the rule of thumb, but you obviously don't want to keep a puppy in there for too long, because they're gonna want to feed, they want to run around, they want to, do other things. So if you keep them in an isolated area, they're most likely gonna be crying a lot. So you might have some neighbors that will complain. It just might be driving, you nuts, or your housemates nuts, or something like that. Then the next thing you have to consider is resources. So if you get a puppy, you have to get vaccines. A good vaccine is a 9-in-1 that covers literally everything, and you normally have to get 3 vaccines once every month. So there's a vaccine, there's the medical bills you have to worry about. Then you have to get all the stuff for the dog. You have to get food dishes, you got to get a leash, a collar, you have to get flea and tick medication, you have to get
deworming medication.
You have to get toys, treats, things for them to chew on. There's so many things. So if you think that just getting a puppy looks cute and you want to cuddle with them, I mean, that's great and all, but you also have to consider all the extra little things that you have to do
for their well-being, of course.
Then there's the grooming. So you have to clean them. It's up to you if you want to do your own grooming, if you want to take them to the groomers or not. It's not too pricey, but it does add up.
It does.
And then there's the shedding. So you're gonna start to have fur all over your clothes,
especially if you have a double-coated dog like a Husky, a Corgi, a German Shepherd. They all shed everywhere.
They're always with you, no matter what. Then, when you bring that puppy home, I promise you, you're gonna put that puppy on the floor, you're gonna look at it, he's gonna start biting you, or she, and then you're gonna turn around to go grab some water. The little thing just peed. You're gonna clean up the pee, you're gonna turn around, it just pooped on the floor. And it's gonna go back and forth all day long.
Yeah, so potty training is also another whole different topic altogether.
And that's another thing, potty training.
Yeah.
Luckily for Bentley, I mean, it was somewhat easy, but we spent a lot of restless nights. Restless nights?
Yes.
Yeah, where, I mean, we got maybe like 3 hours of sleep, and even over during the weekend, same thing. It was a good wake-up call to tell us maybe we're not that ready for a puppy just yet.
I mean, the puppies were really cute, for sure. And they're puppies.
That's what wins you, is the cuteness.
Yes. Cute little tails, their cute little paws, and their small little nibbles that hurt like a little dinosaur. And then they're endless energy. They're just balls of energy. And they would tug on Bentley's tail, and they would wake him up, and he would be so patient with them. He would just let them do whatever they want. And he just
took all of his toys
apart.
Tore some up, hid some.
And he just stared at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just helped themselves to like all his toys, which it was cute. And Bentley was just looking.
But one thing to consider is not just the toys, but if you don't have enough toys, or maybe you do, but what else are they gonna find or think is a toy? your shoes.
Yep.
They're gonna bite the corner of the bed, the corner of the
of
walls,
everything.
the door, the curtains. They're gonna rip those up. So you have to puppy-proof your house in order so all your stuff doesn't get destroyed, because it's going to happen. If you have carpet, they're gonna pee on the carpet.
Yeah, and if you have not watched that video yet, when we actually left Bentley alone when he was still a puppy, he played tug of war with our curtain.
I'm gonna put that up above.
He just went to town with it. Like, yeah, tug of war, curtain.
He's destroyed several of our bed sheets, a few
yes.
duvet covers. What else?
Big holes. Huge.
Our office chairs, he's bitten through those. So if you get yourself a dog, be prepared, because this is the type of stuff that will happen. Now, every dog is different, and so they're gonna have their own little thing, but you'll soon discover if you do decide to get a puppy.
Yeah, and then when you get a puppy, you also have to decide whether you want them always indoors, or a mixture between indoors and outdoors, or just outdoors. Because in Asia, a lot of dogs are just left outdoors, and then the smaller breeds are left indoors. Once in a while they get kicked out of the house and just stay outdoors.
So typically if you have a dog outside, like in the carports, now you have to worry about your plants, if you have plants, your shoes, all the other stuff. If a cat jumps into your carport, now the dog is chasing the cat around.
Loki does that all the time. Loki chases the cats, Loki also chases lizards, and then Loki likes to dig in the pots to hide his bones. So yes.
So we'll come out and there's like dirt everywhere, and then we're like, what did you do? So
he's just happy wagging his tail like, yeah, I had time of my life.
And these are just some of the stories. Like the stories can go on for days, and if you do get a puppy, you're gonna have a lot of stories as well. So be prepared, because owning a puppy is not that easy of a task. You're gonna have your hands full for sure.
Just for a few months though.
Just for a few months. Like the potty training, if you're good at it and you do give it the attention that it needs for potty training, they can learn very quick.
Yes.
As far as like going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, all night long, that lasts just for what, like 6 months, maybe 5-ish. But it does fade away. Like now Bentley just goes about 3 times a day, morning, evening, and afternoon and evening, and it's really simple. But it took a year, so it's not an overnight thing, but the pain eventually does go away.
Yeah. When everyone told us you just need time and patience. So we gave it time and a lot of patience. So here we are.
And then the last thing, that's probably the most important thing, is naming it.
Yeah.
Which is also the hardest thing, I think. We went through so many names. I think it was like, 2 days we had Bentley and we didn't come up with the name?
Yeah. In the end, we came up with Bentley because of the country artist.
Yeah, Dirks Bentley.
That, because he's a big country fan. And I'm just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, so I think it was gonna be like Max, Murph.
Murph was one of it. Murph was a strong contender.
It was. There was like Alpha, Omega. No, not those.
I don't know.
There was like Thor.
Well, we had friends who recommended Balto because Balto was a well-known Husky. And then a few weeks ago, when we were considering to get a golden retriever from one of our friends.
Whoa! Don't tell him that name. Are you about to spill it?
I was about to make a joke about that.
Oh man, Max.
Why can't I tell it? It was so funny.
Because I don't want anybody stealing our name.
I want to make
Anyways,
my Asian mom.
We came up with a name, for her, and I was like, "Mom, can you say this one?" And she's like, Max.
But they have to know what's the name.
Cannot. That's a secret for another video. We'll make them guess.
But it's funnier.
We'll make you guess. We'll make you.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. Noah Olsen's dog.
Aya.
He said Aya.
That's Malaysian. I missed one thing. Cleaning supplies. You're gonna need lots of paper towels, wet wipes. You're gonna need some disinfectant. You're gonna need some tissue. You're gonna need all the cleaning supplies because you're gonna have a lot of mess to clean up.
Yeah.
And potty pads if you want to do that, because when you get their vaccine, they can't go outside. So you need potty pads indoors until you can potty train them outside. So potty pads is basically like diapers. So you're gonna go through a lot of those as well.
Yeah.
So do the calculation. Make sure you're financially set. Have all the stuff that you need first before you get them, because if you don't, and then you have to leave the puppy at the house while you're not there, bad things might happen.
No promises.
No promises. Well, all right, guys, that is our guide on how to raise a puppy in 2020. Like we said, there's not one size fits all.
No.
You're gonna have a lot of stories. We have a lot of stories. It's all a whole different experience, but there's some things that's a normal trend that you're gonna see with a lot of puppies. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully you have a great time raising a puppy. Hopefully that you find a puppy that you guys make a real good connection with and make a great addition to your family.
And if you have anything else to add on to something that we might have missed or a way that worked for you and we have not mentioned it, feel free to let us know. We're more than willing to hear what you had to say and what your experiences have been with raising a puppy.
So guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you again on another episode of Beast Like Bentley.
Bye.
Peace. I'm not gonna put that. I'm not putting that.